Because of the Tennessee Farm Bureau and the Voice of Agriculture, it's given me and many others here with us this week the opportunity to come and tell our story.
Farm Bureau's strong voice of agriculture continues to resonate in Washington and Nashville, and it's never been more important to continue that show of unity for our most important industry. And while the issues are many, a unified voice for farmers is the best option for success.
And I'm making a charge to them to go back home and try to get their friends and neighbors at home engaged, because anybody thinks they just went and voted and think we've done our job and it's over with, they're badly mistaken. The job has just started, and we got to stay engaged and keep telling our story and telling our issues to the Congress that we elected in this new administration.
And if you live from California to New York to Florida, the crops aren't going to get picked without them.
Farm Bureau continues to advocate on behalf of farmers in Tennessee and across the country. But the challenges grow harder each year, especially in the nation's capital, as we become further removed from the farm and special interest groups grow in influence. That means Farm Bureau's voice has to be stronger.
I don't have a farming background, but you all taught me a whole lot about farming. I love to meet with my farmers and to hear their boots on the ground experiences and how I can make sure that I'm representing them well.
It's been good. I mean, we've learned lots of things that I didn't know about in the process in Washington, and how the money's appropriated and what we need to fight for, and that I have a voice that we can come up here and they can listen to us and they take it to heart.
It absolutely makes a Farm Bureau proud to be part of an organization that can put you up here to where you can say that you're from small town USA and that you're a real person from a real place, and you can tell them the problems and concerns that you have and how we think that they ought to lead our nation.
I did not realize, you know how much Farm Bureau does just for every farmer and rancher, row crop guys and individual guys, and even just the ordinary people at home that just, in the rural community, how much do they do help us out.
It's been really neat talking to our legislators and seeing how excited they are to see us and to hear from us and to get our point of view. So
it gives me a legislative update of what's on the mind of the people around Tennessee, and we're ready to go to work for them. We have an important farm bill obviously coming up for 2018, and I need their input to put together a product that'll be successful and make everyone happy.
It doesn't get any better than the Tennessee Farm Bureau. These are great Tennesseans working hard. Our farmers are critically important to our state and to our nation, and I'm so glad to support them.
We continue to learn about all the issues that are important to farmers, not only in the 8th Congressional District, but across the state of Tennessee. In West Tennessee, we have more farming operations than any other congressional district in the state. It means a lot to West Tennessee, it means a lot to me, and I'm an advocate.
I'm never going to apologize for supporting agriculture because I like to eat.
People take their time to come to Washington, D.C., and professional lobbyists come in. But when the actual farmers, or whether it's doctors or business people, teachers, whatever, they're on the ground every day doing their job, and they can tell you what's right and what's wrong. Whereas somebody lives over here in one of these big buildings, they don't know. But these people right here know their business.
I always listen to the Farm Bureau, and I always have. And the reason is that when Jeff Aiken or going way back, Clyde York or others came to see me on issues about taxes or the farm bill, whatever, I knew they weren't just talking for one person. They were talking for the entire Farm Bureau community, and that you'd already had a lot of discussions about it, you developed your policies, and it represented thousands and thousands of Tennesseans.
Yeah, there's no question. Lamar and I both have dealt with our ag community throughout the state for years and understand how important it is, not just, by the way, in the production of agriculture, but what the community itself means to our state, and just everything from values to what happens civically in communities and counties throughout our state. So no question, and we're always glad to see the Tennessee Farm Bureau.
In Nashville, there's also a lot of Farm Bureau support from state lawmakers, as our priority issues were approved during the first session of the 110th General Assembly. But again, the challenges continue as urban legislators outnumber those from rural areas. But as we continue to educate and unite our efforts to speak up on the issues, the rewards will come.
I just feel like it's important, to be here and to have a relationship with our folks here in Nashville, and not only today but throughout the year. But this gives us a little one-on-one time, and to be able to talk to them and tell them the concerns from back home.
Everything that they do here eventually trickles down to our businesses and communities, and we need to keep an eye on what's going on because it affects every one of us.
It's our opportunity to come here as a group and have our one-on-ones with our representatives and our lawmakers, and it gives us the privilege to be able to voice what's important to rural America and the farming community, and that's very important for us.
I would say some of the urban folks don't understand the importance of the Farm Bureau, but most every rural member out there understands the value of Farm Bureau. So as in many cases, it's usually a plus that Farm Bureau is standing side by side with me and shoulder to shoulder, standing tall to help pass the legislation that they're passing.
Well, agriculture is our number one industry in the state of Tennessee. Ag is very important to me in the fact that many hardworking families work day and night to feed not only Tennesseans but to feed America. And we need to do everything that we can to remove any kind of regulations or restrictions on our farmers so that we can continue to help them take care of Tennesseans as well as America.
Some of the most important meetings that I've had this legislative session have not been up here, but they have been back home in the district, especially with our county farm bureaus, and hearing from them the needs and the thoughts of those folks. You guys come every year with a legislative agenda, and it's one thing to publish that and say these are certain things that we're watching, but what's far more important is to hear from people in my district, both in the more rural areas and in some of the more urban type areas, of why they support those pieces of legislation or oppose those pieces of legislation. So I can't stress enough how important it is to hear from the folks in those rural areas, parts of my district, where they really do have a voice.
The influence of the rural voter was made evident in our last presidential election. They have a voice, and a very strong voice. I've been all across the district. I've had breakfast with the Farm Bureau people in every county across the district, and they've had a lot of good input. They are vital to what goes on with the new legislator. We rely on them to give us feedback to what's important to them, especially the farmers, because a lot of times things get lost in the urban discussion that the rural voter needs to have that voice.
And so I've always been very interested in agriculture. I have a lot of friends that are farmers and have a lot of land. So it's very important that I stand up for those type people, because a lot of my district is rural, and I hear from these people. So I want to make sure I'm doing my job and standing up for all people involved, especially those that that have the farms on agricultural issues.
If we didn't have Farm Bureau here, I'm not for sure what we'd do as rural reps, because it's not that many of us left really in rural West Tennessee.
Farm Bureau is one of the most democratic organizations in the nation. The policies and procedures that you adopt periodically through your organization, I know when I see that it represents the way my people think. I read those, but I want to encourage the members to continue the great dialogue we have, because what Farm Bureau thinks is important to me, because you guys look after agriculture in this state.